Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Derek's podcast. We actually have a special guest here today. His name is Artire Hoffman, and he's actually a really interesting guest. As not as opposed to a lot of the other guests that we had on, but he's very different as to we usually have actors, producers on, but you're actually like a spiritualist, I think it is, if I'm pronouncing it right.
Yeah, spiritualist, spiritual advisor, hell of a nice guy.
Yeah. I was just getting to know you a little bit before recording, and you were asking me a lot about Rhode Island, and then I was just telling you about how I wanted to try to get into the conversation, which I should just get into instead of reviewing. I'm sorry. But yeah, how did you get your niche in doing this? Like, I don't instead of like growing up going to a trade school, like a lot of kids do, or just finding a different type of career path. How did you find out that this was meant for you?
Well, when I was 27 years old, I had everything going for me in my life. I literally, I'm married. Her family loved me. My family loved her. We had a nice house. We were going on vacations, material, friends. Everything was going right. But yet something inside me was not fulfilled. Something wasn't there for me.
So something felt empty.
Yeah, there was an emptiness, even with everything going great in my life. It really was. I had no complaints at the time. But I just wasn't fulfilled. And I'm having a little conversation with God. And I said, God, please give me answers, give me clear answers. And please don't scare the hell out of me when you give me these answers.
Yeah.
My exact words to him. And he kept his promise. He kept his promise to me. He didn't scare the hell out of me. So after I'm having that little conversation, I was in my finished basement at the time, and I go upstairs and I'm in my kitchen, and there's a bunch of junk mail there.
Yeah.
And I'm sifting through the junk mail, and I usually don't. When I see junk mail, I usually don't have patience for it. I just throw it in the
kind of scary by it. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but this time I was just looking through it, and I saw a postcard there, and it said, "How would you like to develop your psychic ability and intuitiveness? Come to the Edgar Casey Foundation for this one weekend seminar in Virginia Beach." I said, "Oh, damn." I said, "That's really interesting." I said, "I didn't know you could learn how to do this. I figured either you had it or you didn't."
That's what I thought. Yeah.
So I'm looking at it, and it's getting my curiosity. I'm not looking at it like this is the answer to my prayers. I'm just seeing, just for shits and giggles, just to see if I can do it. I don't know. So, and not that I was that spiritual at the time. I mean, I was like a nice person in the sense. I've always been a nice guy, but a spiritual, that wasn't me. So I asked my wife, who was my wife at the time, I said, "You want to go to this? This looks interesting." She goes, "Nah, I don't give a crap." She goes, "You can go if you want. I don't want to go." So I went away for that one weekend, and it literally changed my life forever. They taught you. There was 50 of us in one very large room, and 50 of us from all different parts of the country. So it was quite interesting.
It was like an interesting melting pot. So everyone came from different views and cultural backgrounds too. So I imagine that was very interesting too.
It was great meeting new people.
Yeah.
Meeting new people, and everyone's there with the same common bond interest and stuff like that, And so I'm like the new kid on the block, and I'm checking everything out, and it was nice. It was just serene. And so the guys, who's the speaker, is talking to us and giving us an understanding about God, about spirituality, not religious, about spirituality, about, beyond what's the physical. Mm-hmm. And it was I found it quite interesting. And then they started playing this beautiful serenity type music, this beautiful Zen music to get you in that mode,
Yeah.
So it was cool. It was really cool. And so they said, "We're going to be breaking you up into groups. So whoever you're with, just share your thoughts, just share your energy, whatever you get, don't judge it at all. It's okay if you don't understand it, just share with what you got." Okay. And so I was telling people what I was getting, and people were telling me how accurate I was. And I was like blown away.
Now, when you say what you were getting, like, what do you mean by exactly? Like, what do you mean by that? What were you getting when you were telling people?
I was getting messages about their life.
Really?
It's like me just meeting you for the first time now. And then like I'm all of a sudden I'm getting messages like in my thoughts.
Yeah. So it's not, it's not something, I'm sorry to cut you off, but I'm just curious. It's not something that is like it's not, it's like manifested in itself. It sounds like it's not something that's predetermined by your choice. Like, meaning you can't pick and choose who this happens with, right?
Right.
Like this, like you said, like you just, sometimes this just happens. Sometimes
Just
it's just
everything. The
manifested inside you.
whole weekend was,
Crazy.
it just happened. The
Wow.
whole weekend was like that.
Wow.
So we, broke up with different people and stuff like that. So, we'd hold hands and we would look into the person's eyes. And then after a few moments, all of a sudden you would just start getting stuff. Sometimes, we'd be holding people's jewelry or keys or their objects, and you pick off energy off their objects.
Wow.
And it's really quite interesting. And I started telling people stuff, and they were saying, yeah. And I'm going, oh my God. So right now, if you could picture what your bedroom looks like,
Yeah.
that's
Okay.
the image that I would get instantly, but it had to do with the person. Or if you had a video of yourself, a recall of getting ready for this program, everything you had to do to run around and do what you had to do to get ready for this video that you're running in your head of what you had to do. So
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
video, so I get those messages, but it has to do with the person, whoever I'm dealing with.
Wow.
And so when I'm getting these videos or messages, and a lot of times I get songs, all of a sudden the spiritual world will start playing songs in my head. And whatever that song is about, that's what's going on with the person. And so I would just express myself. I says, I'll give you a perfect example.
Okay.
So the very first time I ever got a message through a song, I was reading for this one lady. And towards the end of her reading, she said to me, she goes, Art, what do you see for my relationship? And as soon as she said that, I was hearing the song by Stevie Wonder. That's me and you, a part-time lover. And I said, he's cheating on you. I said, I'm sorry. I said, I feel like he's cheating on you. She goes, I think you're right. I said, no, I know I'm right, because I'm hearing that song out of left field. It just came to me,
Yeah.
But I won't deliver bad news like that to somebody if they don't ask. Like if I see bullcrap going on behind the scenes with a relationship, if they're not asking me, I'm not going to tell them, because they're probably not emotionally prepared. If you're asking me the question, then I'm going to tell you whatever I get.
Yes, because then it tells you that they're emotionally prepared for the answer. At least that they've had that internal discussion either with themselves or with their significant other. It prepares them, at least, rather than you blindsiding them with something that.
Yeah, I won't blindside, and I don't tell people. I don't tell people when they're going to die. I never tell people when they're going to die. That's ridiculous. Even if people ask me, Artie, how long am I going to live? It's like, when am I going to die? I said, no, I'm not going to tell you.
Yeah.
You know why? Whether I'm right or wrong, whether I'm dead on or not,
no pun intended.
but whether I'm right or wrong, if I say that to anybody, it's planting a seed in their head.
Yes.
And you could create that to become a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah, you absolutely could. Especially with certain people's personality.
Plant that seed. Yeah, I don't want to plant that seed into someone's head.
No, that'd be terrible seed. I can picture it now, especially with everything that goes on right now. Just all the backlash you'd get from this.
Yeah,
now the difference. He told me to do that. It would be bad.
Now,
do you have things like that happen to you, where like you give what they perceive as a poor reading, and then they come back as like a backlash towards you or upset with you for anything?
Oh, yeah. People have come up, said they were upset with what I had to say. But then because I tell them you can record your sessions. I used to have it a cassette player, and I used to record all the sessions. But because I can't even find cassettes anymore, then I can't record, But they can record it on their phone if they want. I always promote people to record it, because the recording has saved my ass more times than you can imagine. Because in the moment, I'm saying all this stuff and they can't relate to it, half of it. And then they re-listen to it weeks, months, years down the road. And they go, oh my God, he said this, he said that. That's what oh my God, so many times. I can't begin to tell you.
Yeah. I can't
tell you. So my license plate says, I just know.
So people know when they run into you on the road then too. Easy.
Yeah, that's right.
So I was looking at your website, and I see you have a book called, was it Angels and what was the title?
Angels and Answers, yeah.
Angels and Answers. All right, I didn't want to get the title wrong. I knew the first part. I didn't want to. Thought it was demons. So I'm happy I didn't go with that. So
no,
right,
it's Angels and Answers. And what it does when people read my book, You could get it on Amazon.com, or you could go to artiehoffman.com. And this book will literally change your viewpoint about life in a positive way. It will change your viewpoint about life and about your own life. You would literally think, I wrote this book just for you. You're going to have so many aha moments when you read this book. You're going to go, oh my God. You're going to be able to relate to just about everything that's in that book. And also a part of the book is also about, I describe also about angels and saints, about what their sinew is. I picked 12 angels and saints, 2 saints and 10 angels. And I explain what their sinew is, what their purpose is, so that you could relate to them. You know, like Archangel Michael, Archangel Uriel, Gabriel, Ariel, you know,
Right.
I have Mother Teresa in there, and Padre Pio, you know, Saint Padre Pio. These are all very powerful, beautiful saints and angels that are in there. And so it explains about what their purpose is to our life. And it's a very, very cool book. I'm not saying it because I wrote it, but it really is. A lot of people have said it literally changed their life. And a lot of people, what my biggest compliment is when people buy more books because it made such an impact in their life that they give it out to their friends and family.
Yeah, like a suggestion. Absolutely.
Oh my God. When that, I wasn't even thinking on that route. I wasn't even thinking. And then people were like emailing me after they read the book, and they go, oh my God, Art, it made such a difference. I had a lady buy 30 books, 30 books, and to hand out to all their friends and family. And it's like,
you know, she did with a smile on her face too. And because she knows that she's giving out answers to the people that need them right now too. So that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah. So it was really cool. So when people do that for their friends, I mean, not everybody buys 30 books. A few people buy a few books, or I had people buy 5 books, 10 books. That just blows me away.
Yeah.
And I feel
it goes to the right thing.
I feel so flattered and so honored to be put in this position, to be able to change so many people's lives. I mean, I've been doing this for over 32 years, and I've read for over 32,000 people in my life.
So do you have a place that you do this like out of mainly when you say that you've read? So like, is there a place that people can like physically go see you from your hometown that you're from?
Yeah. So if they come to see me in Woodbridge, New Jersey, you know, I'm more than happy to see them in person. Or if anybody who wants to have an Artie party, I call the psychic party an Artie party.
Right.
So if they
What's that like? Oh, explain that. What's that like?
It's a lot of fun. It really is. So I read for their friends and family, you know, like one at a time. Well, there's 2 ways to go about, and I'll travel to wherever they're at. I've done parties in California, Arizona, Rhode Island.
Wow.
I've done a few parties in Rhode Island. I've done parties in New York, Connecticut, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, obviously New Jersey, because that's where I'm from. Florida. So it's really, really cool. It's really cool. I haven't left Earth though. I haven't done it in other planets.
Not yet.
I mentally have left this planet, but I've not
Give Elon Musk enough time. We'll be off on a different planet eventually, I'm sure. But,
so there's 2 ways to have a party. So either they could have all their friends come, and I read for them individually, like 15 minutes or a half hour at a time, and they take turns going in and out of a room. I just need a private room, a table, 2 chairs, and a box of tissues. And then they come in one at a time. Or they could do it where there's a group reading where everybody's in one room, and then I put on like a 2-hour show, 2.5-hour show, and then I read for everybody, and I connect to their loved ones. Wow. And or I give them little psychic readings. And actually, you know, I bust people's chops.
I'm really curious about that actually too. Like, what kind of mental state do you get into before you do something like this? Like, how do you prepare? Like, how do you like you said, you receive messages sometimes. Like, so like, how do you prepare? Like, how do you get into that kind of zone?
How do I get in that zone? It's equivalent to you being a passenger in a car, while you're driving, going for a long drive, and being that you don't have to pay attention to the road and you're just looking out the window and you go into la la land. That's exactly what it's like for me.
All right.
I'm always in la la land. And when I
good.
drive, I don't even know consciously how I get from point A to point B. I just get there with no accidents.
Well, because
I feel the angels always watching out for me.
Well, I feel like people never ask from like your point of view of where you're coming from. Everyone wants to get answers for their own self, you know, which is fine. But from where you're coming from, so that's why I'm interested in kind of having you on today, just to learn about what your point of view is on your side of it. Like, how do you feel when you start telling people these things? Like, is it hard for you sometimes to like kind of have to break the news to people? Like when you have to give them real bad news, like, do you find it
No,
difficult?
no, no. I'm going to tell you why. Because when I give people answers, so if I'm giving hard news to somebody,
Mm,
I will give them the answers on how to overcome their obstacles. So I will give them, sometimes people call me their psychic therapist,
okay.
literally. They call me their psychic therapist because I give people back their power. And that's one of my biggest blessings, because I give people different perspectives on the way to think about what their problem is about. So it's not always the problem that's the problem. It's how you're perceiving the problem is what your problem is, because you want it to be how you want it to be, and you're not accepting it for what it is, or you're not accepting the person for who they are because you think they should be a certain way, but you're not accepting them for who they are. And that's the problem.
It's a lot of
But once you
psychology in that.
accept the person or the situation for what they are, now you could adjust yourself in a more mature fashion rather than beating them up all the time and say, you should be like this and you should be like, no, that's not who they are by nature. And if the other person is not willing to compromise with you in any given situation, then you shouldn't be with this person, because it's only about them. And so a lot of times people are in relationships because they have one thing in common. They're all about the other person. And that's the way it was for 8 years with my second marriage. And so for 8 years, we had one major thing in common. It was mostly about her. And then
You
all of
always
a
came
sudden, it
second.
wasn't good
That's
enough for
tough.
me anymore.
That's tough.
Yeah, it wasn't good enough for me anymore. And then all of a sudden, I started putting my energy more into myself, into my spirituality, and my spirituality started to grow. And so she didn't like that because most of my clients are women.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it was trust
Jealousy.
issues and all that.
Jealousy.
And it's like, you got to be secure. If you're going to be with someone
Yeah.
like me, you have to be very secure. You have to be trusting.
Yeah.
And I'm not a screw around person like that. That's just not
Yeah.
my nature.
Yeah, and some people can't take that. A lot of people, they have their own deep-seated trust issues that they bring into a lot of relationships, where it actually ruins the outcome before they even step foot into a relationship, because they already in their head have something predetermined in the sense of how this person's going to act or how that person's going to answer them when they have a certain situation, a certain question presented to them. So it's like they already have it figured out. You know what I mean?
You know
So
what? I just had a reading this morning based on the topic that you're talking about.
yeah, yeah,
And I said to her, I said, your problem, because she wants to find true love. A lot of people want to find true love into their life.
yes,
All right. So for you to have true love, the reason why a lot of people don't have true love or they're not happy in their relationship is because their defensive heart is much higher than their emotional heart.
okay,
When I say that defensive heart, you're in such the protective mode that I don't trust anybody. And so I'm afraid to get hurt. So I'm not going to let the person in. But your emotional heart is starving because you want to have that beautiful love, that in love, that puppy love. You want all that. But for
yeah,
that to happen, you have to open your heart. You have to trust, and you have to forgive your past. So for all the bull crap that you've experienced in your past relationships, if you don't forgive those people or forgive the situation, you're going to carry all that mucky muck crap
yeah,
from and all that energy, and you bring it into someone who has nothing to do with your past.
yep,
But a lot of times people start attacking their new people, and they have nothing to do with it, but they're attacking them as if they were the problem or the
yeah,
issue.
yeah. Yep. So yeah, they always break. No, and it's a bad. Not, I don't know if you'd call it a trait, I guess, but you know, it kind of is a human trait, right? Because we all kind of do it to a point. So it is tough.
Yeah. So, but thank God, after so many years of living here on Earth, and with all my readings and my personal experience, I've learned that when I do things like I'm seeing a girl now. So when I do things and I catch myself, I say to myself, I'm a better person than that. And I have to work on my own insecurities.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to trust the other person more. And so when I say I love you unconditionally, when you say those words, you have to practice unconditionally. You can't just say I love you unconditionally and then like say, or I love you, and then like start
Your
controlling
actions
them.
speak for something else. Yeah.
Yeah, you start
Your actions
controlling
have to
them, or you have to
match
trust
at
it.
least what you're saying.
I'm sorry?
No, we got a little lag here. That's why we're experiencing that. But no, I was just saying, like your words have to at least match your actions. Like you at least have
Absolutely,
to match
absolutely, because actions always speak louder than words.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So, like I said, so I had to make an apology, you know, to the girl I'm seeing. I had to make an apology to her, because, you know, I told her I was wrong, and I caught myself, and I didn't want it to get deeper, and I wanted her to feel comfortable. I wanted her to be her. I wanted her to be her when she's around me.
Yes.
And I didn't want her to pretend or just to say things because she's on guard, because she's afraid what I might think or what I might say. But when somebody is being their natural self, then you have to learn to accept who they are. Now, if they're doing things that you don't appreciate, all right, then let them know, I don't appreciate it, but you don't attack them.
No.
You know, honey, I didn't appreciate, you know, how you were acting with this person, or I didn't appreciate, you know, you're dressing like a little promiscuous, or you're dressing like, or you're doing it. Say, you know what? It is your body. It is your choice. So I'm just letting you know how I feel. That's all.
Yes.
And then if they love you, they'll make the adjustments. But if you keep pressing them and pressing them, they're going to, and you're making it a problem, then they're going to keep on pushing the envelope because they know it's agitating you. And they say, well, you're not going to tell me what to do. But if you're coming from a place of love, and if they really love you, they will make the adjustments.
Yeah,
and it's all about, and it's all about supporting your partner, not about trying to control them. It's like a wet bar of soap. If you put a wet bar of soap in your hand, it will always stay in your hand because you respect it. It's always in your hand. If you go to grab the wet bar of soap, try to control it, it will slip out of your hands. And you hold their shell, you don't hold their heart.
That's a nice way to put it. I like that. That was good. That was a nice setup on that. That was nice. That was really good. I could see why you have a couple of relationships, and I have 0 right now. So that makes sense.
I've had a few, and the reason why, and I don't feel bad about it. I've been married 3 times. Yeah. My first 2 lasted 10 years. My third one lasted 5. And I'm going to explain to you something really interesting that most people do not realize.
Let's go. Let's hear it.
So my parents were married for 64 years. All right. They both passed, but they were married for 64 years. And my mom stayed in there probably 62 years too long. No exaggeration. She hung in there 62 years. And I told her that because it was a very torrentious type of relationship. And I said, Mom, why are you hanging in there with, I said, you know, my mom was the saint of all saints, and my father had a difficult personality. He just was very difficult. He wasn't all bad. You know, he had some good traits, but he was a very difficult person to get along with in many ways. So anyway, I've learned from my parents, know when the show is over. You know, you don't stay in a relationship if you're that unhappy. Now, you could work things out. There's compromise. Everyone goes through their rough patches. Oh, yeah.
Everyone has compromise in any relationship. Always compromise.
Right. But if your partner is not willing to compromise with you, or to hear you're not willing to have a normal conversation, or you're the conversationist and they're not, and you're not getting feedback, or they're not willing to work on something, again, know when the show is over. Now, I have 2 older brothers. I love them to death. They're both married to the same girl since the Kennedy administration, since forever. Seriously, they've been with, my parents are together for 64 years. My one brother is with his wife for 50 years, no exaggeration. My other brother's with his wife for about 40 years or something. I wish I had that. I wish I had that. No, so it's not like I enjoy being like a runaround Sue or a sleeper. I don't want that. I'm a relationship kind of guy, but I'm not willing to settle. And I'm willing to compromise, but if they're not willing to compromise, then that's it. So this is what I'm saying to you. Now, this is the point that I'm going to bring a whole new perspective to everyone who's watching, or to most people who's watching. Now, when you walk down the aisle with whoever you're with, all right, according to the physical world and according to religion, All right. There's the religious part and there's the spiritual part. Totally different. According to the physical world and religion, when you say the words, till death do you part, that means, according to religion and physical world, that means you made a commitment to your partner and to God till one of us physically die, till death do us part.
Yes.
That's not really the proper understanding of those words. Okay. The true meaning of those words, till death do you part, according to the spiritual aspect of it, until so we shall stay together, hopefully forever, but until one of our hearts emotionally die in the relationship, till death do us part.
Wow.
That's
the first time I've ever heard that.
I knew that. I knew that. And so same with a lot of other people. So if your heart dies in the relationship, why are you going to stay as a dead person inside and try to make something happen or vice versa? You know, again, why are you going to allow yourself where you're holding on to someone's shell and not their heart, or vice versa?
Yeah, no, you're right.
If you're not getting that common bond back with each other, that emotional feeling, that support, that love, again, know when the show is over. So with each of my relationships, I really tried with each one. But you want to know something? As I spiritually grow, and they felt uncomfortable with me being me, I said, and it became trust issues and controlling and jealousy. I said, you know what? I can't deal with it. I'm being me. While I'm with you, I'm giving you quality, but It's never enough. So I said, you know what? I can't. If you can't be yourself with your own partner, the person who you trust the most, or even with your own family, your parents who you should be loving and trusting the most. Yeah. If you have trust issues with them, it's like, what the hell?
Then where do you feel safe? Where do you feel safe in life enough to feel anything, right? I mean, because if you can't feel safe with your own family, that's not good.
Right. And a lot of us, we create our own families through our friends or our family, because those are the ones that we relate to the most, trust the most. We get the most support.
We choose to let them in. We're the ones who choose to be in our lives. So yeah, that is the one. That is our family in a sense.
Oh wow, there was a strong point I wanted to make. I went on a brain fart for a moment.
I get those all the time.
Wait. Shit, I forgot. All right, it'll come back to me, but it was a good one. So it was funny, it's like my memory really does suck. So I don't remember reads when I do people. The only time I remember reads that I've already done for people, because when I'm reading people, I'm in an altered state of mind. So I don't remember what I say to people.
I got you.
But when I'm in a conscious state of mind and people come back to me, Art, this happened and that happened and this happened. So those I'll remember reads because they're coming to me after something already happened, and they go, oh, wow. And I can't believe that I predicted this stuff, It's like, wow, that's really cool.
Are there any that like really stood out to you that really kind of reinvigorated your passion maybe at one point in your career while doing it? Like, because everyone experiences lulls and anything that, like, I don't have to explain to you, you know this, anybody knows this. There's always lulls in people's lives where they feel a dwell, they feel like they're stuck. And sometimes you have someone reach out to you, like a fan in your case, that could have reignited that for you. So was there anything like that happened in your career that you could recall that you were like, oh, wow, this is really why I do what I do? Like that really just kind of clicked with you one day, made you really realize.
I'll give you a few cool examples. Well, what I wanted to say.
You remembered it?
What I wanted to say is that it's not necessary to hang on to every single relationship in your life if they're no longer serving a positive purpose in your life.
Yes. All right.
Whether it be even with family. Listen, I love people. It's like ice cream. I love ice cream, but I don't like all flavors.
Yeah, I gotcha. I agree with that.
So I could say to you, and I could say to strangers, and I could say to my friends, and I could say to my family, I love you. And I really mean that. I really mean I love you. But I love myself also. So when people say, Artie, you're so full, or you love yourself, you're so in love with yourself. Yeah, I do love myself, but I love you like I love myself. I really
Yeah.
do. It's a confidence level. I'm not saying I'm better than you, because I'm not better than anybody.
No.
You know? But,
No, I know
you
what you
know,
mean. People that
you know,
have the people that take it that way, they have their own self-esteem issues.
insecurities.
That's what it all exactly insecurities. That's what everything stems back to, and a lot of the relationships that go sour is just insecurities in ourselves that they're not fixed in ourselves. So that when we go into a relationship, we kind of go into a relationship expecting our significant other to fix it, right? Like for them to be our glue, to hold us together. But you can't go into a relationship counting on that, because that's not the point of a relationship. It's not like you can count on each other, but it's not, you're not meant to make each other happy. You need to be happy on your own. If you're not happy with yourself, you can't expect to be happy with somebody else.
Right. Because what happens is that a lot of people put their eggs in other people's baskets, making them responsible for their happiness. So I always tell people, you should share your life with somebody. Don't live your life through someone.
Exactly.
Because then when you lose yourself in someone else, then any little thing they do, it's like it affects you so much that you can't even be yourself. So when you're at work, you're thinking about them. When you're playing with your friends, you're thinking about them. When you're just traveling or doing your own thing, you're thinking about. It's like all you're doing is worried about what your partner is doing or whatever. And that's not healthy.
So
So you were asking me some of my experiences.
Yeah.
Some of my powerful experiences. I'm going to tell you the single most powerful experience I've ever had in my career of 32,000 people.
All right.
Yeah. So there was a gentleman, and I got lots and lots of stories, but there's not enough days right now to explain them all. But the number one most powerful experience is that a gentleman called me up and he needed to see me really bad. And I made time for him, and he came in to see me, and he was very depressed. And I started to explain to him about his life and life in general, how it's meant to be and how the world works. All right. In a synopsis, in a short synopsis, I explained to him within the hour's time about the meaning of life, the meaning of his life. And I was not just talking as a teacher, but I was talking to him also psychically what was going on within his life and the purpose of his life and the meaning of his life and how life works behind the scenes in our daily life. So after I explained to him the true meaning of life and the purpose and the meaning of his life and how to make his life a happier and better place, after his reading was over, he looked at me and he said, and he gave me a big hug, and he goes, Art, he goes, you saved my life. I go, oh, that's cool. No, I'm like, all right, that's cool. You know, a lot of people say, oh, Art, you're a lifesaver. But he said, no, you literally saved my life. He goes, I wrote a suicide note and I was going to kill myself tomorrow morning. And now I don't want to do it because of you.
Oh my God.
So, yeah, that's my number one biggie.
Wow.
And so because I gave him a whole new, healthier perspective about life and his life and everything. And so that was really, really cool. So another story, I have a few cool stories.
No, definitely.
A lady comes in to see me for a reading, and she shows me a picture. So when I communicate to people's loved ones who passed away, when they come see me in person or over the phone, I say, you know, show me a picture of that person. You know, so when I look into their eyes of the picture who passed away, they communicate to me in my thoughts. And so this lady brings in a picture of her boyfriend, and I'm reading for her for this time. And towards the end of her reading, she said to me, Art, I came to see you 6 months ago. And I asked you about him already. And I didn't remember. I didn't remember her, and I didn't remember the reading. And she said to me, she goes, I asked you about me and my boyfriend, what our life is going to be like. And you told me that we're going to have a wonderful life together. You told me that we're going to share our lives together like forever or whatever. And that, you know, everything was going to be great. Don't worry about it. Well, 6 months later, he passed away. And so I was devastated. I was very angry with the angels. I was angry with God. I was angry with angels in the moment. I was mortified in the moment. And I'm quietly, while she sits standing right in front of me, quietly, I'm thinking to myself, why did you give me that false illusion?
Yeah.
Why did you tell me to tell her that? You know, and I took it personally. I was very upset. So I said, give me a moment. Give me a moment. And I stood there for a minute by myself. And she was standing right in front of me, but I stood there quietly. And the angels explained to me. They told me why. So I said to her, so when you saw me last time and asked me about your boyfriend, what were those last 6 months like? What was that like? She goes, oh my God, it was the best. She goes, we played every day. You know, we were like best of friends. We made love almost every day. We laughed every day. Like we were just so incredibly happy every day. And we were in each other's lives every single day. I said, if I told you he only had 6 months to live, what would you have been like? She goes, I would have been a nervous wreck. I would have been crying every day. So for your last 6 months, would you have rather been crying and nervous for 6 months, waiting for the day? Or would you have rather have had the best time of your life?
Oh, that's a good perspective. That's a good way to put it too. Good way to view it.
You know, but you know, this wasn't me being clever. I needed the answers. I needed the answers. Why? So, you know, there's a song that Garth Brooks wrote, and Garth Brooks wrote a song called "Some of God's Greatest Gifts Are Unanswered Prayers." So when you think you want to know something, you really don't want to know something. Or when you think you want something, there's a holdback, but there's a reason, because God has a plan. So the reason why I got into reading, I really didn't finish the story, why I actually got into reading. So the reason why I got into being a reader, you know, being a psychic and a medium and all this stuff. So when I went home, when I got home from that seminar, you know, I was reading for friends and family for the next 3 years, just for the fun of it, you know, and people were telling me how accurate I was. So I made some moves in the stock market, and I thought for 100% sure, there was no doubt in my mind, 0% doubt in my mind, that I was going to make some big bucks on 2 particular stocks. I felt it in my heart and soul. So I borrowed $20,000 that I didn't have. So 2 people trusted me, and they lent me $10,000.
Oh my Lord.
And I said, don't worry. I said, I'm going to give you $1,000 bucks. I'm going to give you $1,000 bucks interest within the year, probably much sooner than that, but I'll give you $1,000 bucks interest within the year. A year later, I was out $5,000. And it really ticked me off. So not only did I have to borrow another $5,000 from another friend to cover the to cover the $20,000, but plus I had to take $2,000 of my own money to give them the $1,000 that I promised.
Oh wow, that's tough.
So
That's
now I'm really upset. So the kicker, when I tell you the freaking moment, I almost said the F-bomb, the freaking moment I sold both my stocks so I could get out and so I could pay, the moment I sold, both stocks started taking off. One stock went up 100% within a year. The other stock went up 650% within 6 months. It went from $2 a share.
If you're just a little bit more patient.
13.5 a share. You talk about angry. I lost out on $100,000 on my premonition that I felt in my heart and soul was going to make it. And it was just right after I had to sell because I made a promise. But so now I'm angry. I'm upset. I said, all right. So now I have to pay them back and stuff. So I'm thinking to myself, what other than my regular job that I still own, I have my own business besides doing my spirituality business. It's a window cleaning, power washing business called Peeping Tom's Window Cleaning.
That's a fucking great name. I like that.
Yeah. And on my card, it says binoculars not included.
That's great. I like that. That's a good plug too.
So I've had that business for 36 years. But anyway, so I needed to make more money than what I was making because I got to pay back everybody and I lost out on money and I'm like really upset and angry. So I'm sitting on my couch and I'm thinking, what the hell can I do to earn some extra money? So I said, you know what? I know how to do readings. So I threw an ad in the paper and the ad read, if I don't pull through, no charge. Well, it turns out that 90% of the people paid me. And by word of mouth, it just took off.
Wow.
And now here I am in this career. And so in my book, I explain that story. And I also say that loss was the biggest gain of my life.
Wow. That's good.
Because it gave me an entire career. I've been on Fox TV. I've been on the #1 station, radio station in New Jersey. I have my own international Facebook Live show every Sunday night called Angels and Answers at 8 p.m. Eastern time.
I know a bunch of people I know a bunch of girls that are going to listen to this and tune into that for sure. So if you could definitely provide me with the link to that so I could plug that into the
just go to artiehoffman.com. It's a Facebook.
Oh, okay.
Go to Angels and Answers. It's Angels and Answers.
Just
Same
on
name
Facebook.
as my book.
Oh,
Facebook,
okay.
Angels and Answers. And you can link right into it. So I read people for free for 1 hour. And then if they want to book me privately, then I explain what my rates are. But I read people, and I have a wonderful assistant, Mary. She reads all the questions. So I have like 1,000 questions hitting me within the given time.
Yeah, of course.
So Mary, my assistant Mary, will like randomly pick a question, and I'm looking at the camera, and then I'm listening to her. She says, Artie, someone's grandmother by the name of Elizabeth, they want to know, how are they doing? What's the message for them? And then boom, an answer will come to me. Or they want to know about their love life, or they want to know about their kid's life, or, how long should I stay with the bum? Or can you predict my future love? So
that's awesome.
The funny thing is you'll get a kick out of this one. So there are a lot of times girls will ask me, so Artie, when do you see me getting pregnant? I said, as soon as you stop watching my show and get in the bedroom, I said, your odds will go up.
Fucking hot, dude. Oh my God. I was not expecting that from you. Well, I'm very happy that I had you on today, Artie. I'm happy I was able to make the time. I'm happy that you were able to get down here. I'm sorry if you had to rush too much. But again, before we wrap anything up, is there anything you'd like to plug in, like I said, so that they can find a good way to get a hold of you? Facebook. I know you have a real actual page too, like a website that you have.
So if anybody wants a private reading, or they want a psychic party and have an Artie party at your place, I also do events and I do speakings. I'm a riot at weddings, funerals, and bar mitzvahs. No, so, but you can reach me if you call me at 732-778-7173, and I'll repeat it, 732-778-7173, or if you go to Artie Hoffman at Gmail or artiehoffman.com, everything is there. And like I said, the Facebook Live show every Sunday night at 8 p.m. Eastern time, I read people for free on Angels and Answers. Hold on 2 seconds.
All right.
So I have my book, Angels and Answers.
Oh, nice. I like that. All right.
So, and I'm working on a second book that's going to come out, hopefully, no, not hopefully, it will come out by the holiday season. And that one is called Have Your Angels Call My Angels.
Where do you come up with these names? I like that. That's funny.
Yeah, I know. I got very creative angels. I'm very good with marketing and stuff.
I guess so. I guess you got some marketing angels up there.
Yeah, I do. I got clever angels. I am my best audience. I make myself laugh, and I try to share the joy with everybody.
You definitely enlightened me on a lot of. I was very pleased to have you on. Very surprised and very enlightened on a lot of subjects tonight. So thank you for that. And I'm sure my audience.
I appreciate it. You're a very good interviewer. You're good.
Well, I know I stumbled
You're in the right place. Trust me. You're in the right place. You have good charisma for this type of work.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Really means a lot, Artie. Thank you. And I hope to have you on again. And so thank you for coming on. I really appreciate your time. And anytime you want to stay in touch, if you want to give anybody any shout outs, would you like to say bye to anybody, hi to anybody?
Yeah, it was awesome. I don't know.
Oh, no, just
everybody. No, I don't want to
exclude anybody. That's true.
Exclude anybody. So yeah. So,
right.
But my love to everybody. My love and my blessings to everybody. And I thank God and the angels. I want to say something before we leave.
Okay.
A lot of people who are very religious, they say, oh, this is against my religion. I feel really bad. I feel really guilty because, I was told this is Satanism. This is, all this stuff. But the bottom line is, I say my prayers to the Holy Spirit and to the angels to give me answers. I've helped heal thousands of people emotionally and physically. I've helped heal thousands of people. So if you're telling me that what I do is the devil's work, then I need to shake the hands of the devil and thank him for helping me heal so many people. It's all what your intentions are behind your actions is what makes something right or wrong. And everything that I do is within the white light. It has nothing to do with manipulation. It's all about healing, helping, giving people awareness and giving people their power. And that's what it's all about. And that's why I love to do what I do.
I think right now too, that's what everyone needs. Like, not to just in general, like in general, everyone needs that right now. So that's really positive, and that's probably the best route that we could go with what's going on in the world. So it's really nice to have people like you around. It really is. So.
It's a beautiful thing. It's beautiful. You've been a beautiful audience. Next show.
Thank you. All right, Adi. Hey, have a good night, my friend.
Take care. It was a pleasure.